What's up guys, this is Saolin and welcome to another episode of the iherng podcast, and today we will answer a question from email, and this is from Jet. Dear iherng, thanks for making great videos on YouTube for property newbies like us to get more info before buying a house. Recently, I can see and hear a lot of people saying the property price will go down in the coming months and next year, and many cheap sub-sales auction units will be available after the loan moratorium period ends. Recently, I have made a booking on a new pre-launch property in Saolin area with some early bird rebates. After hearing all the rumors about property price will drop soon, I started to have doubts like should I cancel my booking and wait for the property price to drop. So my question is, number one, what do you think of the rumors of property price will drop in coming months or next year? 2. How do you see the future on Saolin area as it is located between TRX and Bandar Malaysia? Your help will be very much appreciated. Thank you. So first of all, thank you very much for the email, and yes, the latest biggest topic for the end of the month this month is the end of the moratorium. So the moratorium, for those who don't know, is an exemption, meaning you can opt not to pay loan for the past 6 months. And for those who knows how to deal with the situation, right, like me and my peers in the property investment world, this is like a huge fundraising exercise, which means if you come to look at your salary and spending output every month, right, majority of it, more than 50 to 60% of your income goes to installment, either for cars, credit cards or house. So it's a very good time to actually engineer it, and if you know how to deal with it, right? Personally, myself, I'm really enjoying this period, and I'm putting in a lot of effort to raise fund because rental still proceeds as per se. Like I gave some discounts here and there, but 6 months rental I collected, but I don't have to pay the banks. Then these 6 months I can maybe up to 20,000, 30,000, right? And that is a very, very good deposit to be used for property purchase in the future. And the government announced this, right, to ease the entire blow from COVID towards businesses, especially the small entrepreneurs. Not to really say big boys also kena. So we also understand that a lot of people are actually eyeing on auction units, right? Regardless whether COVID or not, in a normal situation, right, there's a fixed percentage up to 2 to 3% in the market where it's auction. It means, right, in a block maybe 100 units, right, 3 units will be auctioned because these are the unfortunate people that maybe face some financial difficulties. But some condos, right, certain condos that was dealt a bad hand, which means bulk purchase happened and they were promised rental at a super high price, and when now COVID hits, especially in the KLCC center, those will then be greatly affected. Where if I were to get my keys lately and I'm renting out now, right, so I cannot get the rental that was forecasted, so it becomes a huge bleeding. Then if my personal finances is also affected, my business are affected, yeah, then auction. No? After the 6 months of moratorium, right, a lot of things are eased out, and many may say that, oh, now auction a lot of stocks. Not really, because 6 months moratorium, if you understand how auction works, right, if an owner fails to make monthly installment for 3 months consecutively, then the bank will order the lawyer to send in letter of demand or whatsoever. Then your property will be placed into the auction market and be auctioned by the auctioneer. So it takes quite a long time lah. And sometimes when after 3 months, right, then you kena a letter already, then you pay 1 month, then they take it off, then you fail to pay again, then they put it back again. So the real situation we're going to see around February to March, which is next year lah. Because like now October, November, December, right, you still have that reserve cash to ease the blow. Then for businesses, right, Christmas is coming, Chinese New Year is coming. This is when they will try their very best in marketing to actually revive their business lah. If not, really too bad lah, I'm sorry. Then when you say property price will drop, right, it depends on how you define property price drop lah. If you mean a property that you just like subscribe, right, let's say it's 800,000, suddenly, oh, next year property price drop, right, I will throw in another 100,000 discount, right, for 700. I don't think so lah. But what I observed lately is when I went around KLCC areas is because of the rental due to COVID, there's no expats coming in, there's no foreigners coming in, so the demand for Airbnb, office spaces, short-term rentals, right, all this kind of thing kind of affected properties, especially around KLCC areas. And because of that, if so happen the owner cannot sustain or their business got really affected, then they want to cut losses, then maybe they will exit at a way lower price. But I only foresee property price lowered down for the sub-sale markets around KLCC area, or maybe I would say like places that was greatly hit by COVID, especially the tourism-oriented properties. But now, Cuti Malaysia also, I see business are coming up, like Tanah Rata in Cameron Highland, like every weekend packed one. Genting Highland also packed. All the beach also packed. So when you say property price drop, right, I'm not sure how much you are expecting it to drop. People are buying, like for myself, when I'm shopping around, I'm seeing a lot of people are buying because of the interest rate and because the government are pushing and because a lot of infrastructure are ongoing. But these are happening to the new property sectors because their price are a little bit more flexible and easy to maneuver compared to sub-sale market. So sub-sale market, I foresee it's going to be a little bit slow, because there's a lot of reason for me to buy a new property in comparison to a sub-sale today. Unless if I have capital, right? Like today, if I have capital after the 6 months of fundraising, I'm now actually looking into some sub-sales and waiting for that moment to strike, which means, right, this owner desperate, right? Then if the property throw like maybe 10% below market value or 15%, 20% below the market value because he wants to exit early, then I will go in. Yeah, but it's all up to your standard of ROI. How much would you want to enter? So like Robert Kiyosaki pointed out, you earn money when you buy, not when you sell. It means you enter the price below market value. And this only happens if you do a lot of homework, you know a lot of agents that focus on that particular property. So my answer to whether property price will drop or not, yes, it has dropped a little bit for places who are heavily dependent on expats and short-term rentals. But sometimes people would say like certain, like for example, a building in Cyberjaya, right? The auction price was only 200,000, but the SPA price was 800,000. Yes, there are cases like this, which was mentioned earlier, right? It was dealt a very, very bad hand. The investors were inexperienced, they don't know what to do, then they got just sugar-coated with all the promises and then they got into trouble. Yes, there are a lot of cases like that. But if you look into the overall, right, the entire Malaysia property stats or by state, right, we don't see a very huge like boom. No. It's just a correction phase. If you zoom out a little bit, right, it's just a standard variation. Then how do I see Saolin, right? It's a very exciting place because there's a lot of intersection. So personally, like a little bit more philosophically, right? I always look for intersections between services. What I mean is like between MRT, LRT or KTM or monorail or highways, right? The intersection is always the most exciting part. For example, Sunway Velocity is the intersection between two paths. Then if you look into KLCC as well, it's intersection. Then if you look into more successful addresses, usually it's the intersection where you have more elements of connectivity to the site. And that provides convenience. Hence the demand for space temporarily is very high, reflecting in very high rental. But from a person from Shah Alam, from PJ, for more family-oriented one, right? You won't like it if you are not from there because it feels rather zap. It's a lot of hustle and bustle. There's a lot of action ongoing. Highways are everywhere. It feels kind of hard. Those are elements of investment type properties. Not so much for own stay. So like I mentioned in 4 basics, the intention for purchase is very, very important. So I think that's all, and I hope that these will help you make that informed decision and take that calculated risk. And congratulations on your purchase. Personally, as I mentioned many times in the channel also, right? Like during MCO, I bought one which was documented, and behind the scenes, my entire team, we are still gearing up to buy more, because we believe good things will happen. Yes, it might be a little bit gloomy now, and some analysts will say that we are going to go kaboom, but some people are going to say that property will boom. It depends which side are you in, but the experience in the office are pretty optimistic about it. So with that, thank you very much for the question, and for those who still have any question regarding real estate, do just email me at taniherng@gmail.com, and I will see you on the next one. Ciao.